Good afternoon and welcome to DYW Live. Today you have myself, Peter Murray from Education Scotland, you have Richard Tarves from eSchool, and you have Alexander Littley from eSchool, who we're all going to do some of the session today. We're going to just very briefly run through a session. I'll keep my camera off because I might ban the bandwidth, but Alex, as you can see, is on, and so is Richard. So we're just going to get through a set of slides. Ask any questions you like at any point in time in the chat. I'll put in a link to a Mentimeter as we go along. There is 3 questions. We will put them out as we go along. But very simply, anything you want to ask, just ask us away. So DYW Live. So let's go through the ease of this. So if you could possibly click on the Menti chat on the chat panel or use the code in the front and just simply answer the question on that. Were you aware of DYW Live before today? And I'll give you a couple of seconds to type in your answer. So it looks like, as at the moment in time, most people have heard of DYW Live, which is great. I'll just give a couple of people a chance to answer the questions. Yep. So I'll leave that running in the background. So roughly speaking, we have more people on the call who have heard of DYW Live, and some people haven't heard about it. So that's fantastic. So today we're going to go through a bit of the past, the present, and the future of DYW Live. So what is DYW Live? So DYW Live was set up to sort of combat during COVID, the idea that we couldn't have work-related learning within the classrooms. So I'm very keen in work-related learning. I think it's an essential part of a young person's journey. They have to know what they want to do. To do that, they need to get some advice. So a lot of the time that advice will come from partners, employers and other partners around. And we felt that during COVID, teachers were telling us that there was a lack of opportunity for partnership because of the COVID. So we looked at putting something together that would bring together that opportunity, but also make it easy. And that's the difficult thing, making it easy. So we came away with this idea of our online portal, which then became DYW Live. So let's look at some of the things that make DYW Live what I think is a very innovative programme. Number 1, it's a virtual learning offer to support teachers and learners across Scotland. So everyone can go on it. They go on through Glow. It's to support learners about employability, skills and career pathways. I'm a great believer that if we get career pathways and learner journeys correct, we'll have going forward, young people will be able to choose what they want to do with confidence. And that's what it's all about, giving them confidence. And that's key. The big thing about DYW Live, like it says in the title, it is live lessons. So these are live engagements provided to classrooms, and teachers will then have the learners in front of them. During the first part of the lockdown, we delivered into the houses, but we very quickly changed over to the platform where we're delivering to teachers. As I said, it helps to address the very limited employer contact and the lack of work-related learning and work-based opportunities during the pandemic. It extends a range of employer and partner connections and opportunities. It's linked to the NELO, which is other content like the videos through the West OS and the resources through Education Scotland. And by having partnership delivery, we're having experts in the room. So I think one of our latest adverts was no textbooks, just experts.
I'm not taking you to school until you eat breakfast.
If everyone could just turn their mics off, please, that'd be great. So when we looked at DYW Live, we had to look at a way of going forward in that and putting it together. So we had a range of partners. This is just some partners that were involved, because the whole benefit of DYW Live is that we're using this expertise. And that's what it comes to, expertise. If you look at what we're doing in terms of work-related learning, teachers, parents and carers, we can give information. And then we've got these experts coming in, giving them more information. And this is the idea of DYW Live, to provide this expertise. The engagement has been pretty good. So as you can see, local authorities, every local authority has engaged at some point in time, which is fantastic, which is a credit to the Glow platform. And some of the local authorities have obviously been more involved than others, and that may just be down to them knowing the platform and knowing where to find it. And the RICs have been engaging as well. So DYW Live, a platform to deliver live lessons directly to young people in the classrooms. And I think that's where we had for the past. And I'm now going to hand you over to Alex, who's going to take you through the next bit.
Hi there. So just going to talk a bit, because we've talked at quite a high level of, we had a challenge in the pandemic and employers not being able to go and get into schools, and we created DYW Live to go and respond to that. But I want to go and provide a bit more detail of what it is that we actually went and did. So we delivered DYW Live between January and June as a series of 2 blocks. And it was a collaboration between a wide range of partners from all across the country to go and provide different expertise into different sectors and different areas. Some focusing strongly on employability and work inspiration, others focusing a lot more on skills. And it was jointly delivered between Education Scotland and eSchool, much as this presentation is. It was 2 blocks of 8 weeks, the first block running from January to March, and then the second block running between the Easter and the summer. As Peter mentioned, the initial plan was that, as we currently do with DYW Live, it would be delivered through the classroom. However, as you'll no doubt be aware, between January and Easter, there was very little of pupils being in the school due to lockdown. So we had to go and quickly react to that and go and deliver into the homes of the young people. We have provided for all of our partners some online training to go and help them get used to delivering through Glow within Teams, and also utilise some of the additional bits and bobs that are available when you're using Teams for Education. And likewise, we have gone and trialled using Vimeo, as you'll hear later on, particularly with our Pathways Week, as it's a different option to Teams and does offer some advantages in the, it's like a YouTube link, you can click on it and everyone can go and access it. However, it also has its downsides in that it's very much one directional rather than a Teams meeting, which allows a lot more interaction and input from the young people. In terms of how the delivery goes and works, we've got a nice little graphic that goes and neatly shows and explains what goes and happens with it. If I could get the next slide, please. So if you want to register your interest, it's very simple. You go to the eSchool website, go to the DYW Live page. You can go and register. You'll need to be logged into Glow to register, and you'll go through the registration form to go and do that. It's just a Microsoft form. It's very simple and shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. You will then, by virtue of registering, be automatically added to the team for that particular course, where the partner is and where members of Education Scotland and eSchool are, to namely myself, as I'm the coordinator, to go and support you. And once you're in there, you're able to go and communicate with the partner and go and discuss attendance and any requirements that you might have with them to go and organise booking and attending. Once you've gone and organised that and you've planned when you're going to go and attend, the partner obviously set everything up in terms of the session and the meeting, and on the day all you have to do is join a Teams meeting, much like you are at the moment. The only exception is that this is out with Glow, that will be within Glow. You access the meeting, you stick it on the board, and you can then have your learners go and benefit from the experience and the remote interaction with that partner. Some sessions might have additional requirements. For example, obviously we're using Mentimeter in the session. Some partners choose to go and use Mentimeter or Kahoots or other things, so they might require individual devices for pupils to be able to interact with that. Some are more creative, perhaps they're arts based, or they're doing science experiments, and there may be additional equipment that is required for the pupils to fully participate in those. But that's essentially how it works. It's just streamed through Teams directly into the classroom, and the lead teacher can go and help support the class while the practitioner on the board, the partner, sorry, on the board goes and delivers the session. To go and give a flavour of what we've got available, these are from what we had again before the summer. We've got a new 21-22 academic year course that we're delivering now, which we'll talk more about in a second. But As you can see, we broke down into different things that we're offering. So here were all the S1 to S3 courses. Here were all the primary 4 to primary 7 courses. And you'll see we've got a wide range of everything from coding to business to Gallic to career inspiration, and a bunch more. I'm not just going to read all of them out. And on the next slide, you'll see we've got, even more. We also broke them down into different curriculum subjects to go and better help, particularly the practitioners in the secondary sector, to be able to identify courses that, if they're a maths teacher, would perhaps be relevant to their cohort, or if they're an English teacher, would be relevant to their cohort. And as you can see, we had a wide range of offers. And in terms of the numbers and outputs of that, I'm going to hand over to Richard, who will go and handle that.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I'm Richard Tarvis. I work at eSchool as Business Development Officer, and I am delighted to work with Peter and Alex in delivering this programme. It's been a very exciting year. It's been a tumultuous year, especially last year. But despite that, and as Alex said, us having to change delivery mode, essentially at the drop of a hat, we learned that pupils are going to be at home during January. We were very pleased to see the uptake over the course of those 2 8-week blocks. More than 45 partners, as you can see there, worked with us over the course of last year to deliver more than 300 lessons across a really wide range. There are more than 70 courses on offer. And fantastically, we managed to engage with young people more than 27,500 times. We reckon pushing on for 30,000 times, despite having to roll with the punches and move from home delivery to back into the classroom. So we're very pleased with that. And we got some excellent feedback. Teachers have found it to be really useful. The programme provides a framework around which they can plan other DYW work-related learning. And the sessions themselves, we've heard straight from the horse's mouth that they are very high quality and enjoyable for learners. So both primary schools have been in touch. The primary uptake was fantastic actually last year, and I would say we had most learners from the primary sector. So we got some really nice feedback from teachers there, but also from high schools too, and with some of the more in-depth sessions with senior phase learners. So I'll not read those out to you. You can read those for yourselves. Very gratifying to hear from teachers, and we always hope that this would be a useful tool in their armoury, and it would help people throughout COVID and beyond. Obviously, this is a project that is started during COVID, but is not just in response to COVID. It's a legacy that we intend to continue to build on, building that range of partners that we're working with. But most gratifying of all, of course, is hearing back from the learners that they've enjoyed the sessions, that they've benefited from them, that it's inspired them in some way, and it's made them think about areas of work that they might not have done before. So we are delighted to see that. And obviously great to hear back from our partners that they've enjoyed the experience and it's been of benefit to them as well. Equity of access to learning is absolutely at the heart of everything that eSchool does. And so DYW Live is just one example of that principle in action, because it gives learners all over the country the same access to employers and those experts that Peter and Alex have talked about. So looking at that from the perspective of these experts, those employers and partner agencies, the program's allowed them to vastly expand their reach. And now they can provide that expertise to learners no matter where they are. There's obviously efficiency savings in that. They can prove impact on smaller budgets and don't have to spend quite as much time traveling. But critically, once they are allowed to get back into schools, they can make that as meaningful as possible and build on those remote relationships that they've built up through the programme. So as we move on, it would be very useful to us to know, it's great to hear that most of you were aware of DYW Live before you joined this session, because actually, although we advertise it to the best of our ability, we're not quite sure how many teachers are aware of the programme. So that's something we hope to work on over the course of this year, and really aim to make sure that every school and every teacher knows what's available to them and how they can build it into their learning. But what would be useful is if you go on to Menti again and pop in the code. We've got our next question there, which is, have you actually signed up your learners for any sessions so far? That would give us some really useful feedback from your point of view. Now, I'm not actually logged into Mentimeter, Peter.
Yeah, so
Peter, that's going to be your new name. So if you can tell us what the results of that are, that would be great.
So, yeah, that's perfectly. So right now, virtually no one has signed up for any of the sessions, which is good because it means that we can get the message out there. Absolutely.
It means that this session is hopefully adding value for you, and we'll come on to maybe why that is in a little while. But I'll pass back over for you to take on the next section of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So one of the things about DYW, we're talking about the evolution here, and we take constant feedback and we look at it and we look at how we can improve. And one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we were making use of every minute we had with learners. So we thought that one of the things that was really important was to engage with secondary schools. Now, we knew how difficult it was during COVID. So we decided that the last week, roughly about the last week of term, would have what we called a Pathways Week. And the Pathways Week was one of the sessions that we created that allowed simply 5 days of inspiration, all delivered by our partners. And there was a focus on career pathways. Estimated attendance, 7,000 attendees, 3,500 to 7,000 attendees. It was all done through Vimeo, our presentation network, and delivered by our partners. This was a fantastic opportunity for learners to hear exactly what they had to do, why people chose the jobs they were doing, people telling them the pitfalls of the job, people telling them how they got to there. We had some amazing sessions. We had sessions with the engineer who was involved in the Mars rocket landing drill for that. Fantastic. We had Ian Ritchie, the computing legend who invented the hyperlink, talking to young people getting the opportunity to ask questions to these people about how they got there and what was their inspiration. This was an excellent week. We loved it. It was one of those things that we thought would engage the secondary schools and primaries, but secondary schools really got engaged with us, and the Pathways Week was a massive success. We also, during the session, realised, and I believe that one of the strengths of this team, and it's a cracking team, is that we look at what we've got and we change to suit whatever we need to do to make more people aware and get young people more engaged. So we looked at it and we noticed that the sessions being 9 to 9:45 to 10 to 10:15, 11 was causing a bit of problems. And this I think was one of the reasons why we were struggling at some point to get all of the secondary schools involved. So we came away with another evolution. We thought about this, the flexible delivery. So having a flexible delivery is a fantastic opportunity, because what it does is it allows schools to have bespoke sessions delivered with their negotiation and their own establishments at a time that suits them. This, of course, meant we had to have very, very much a smaller range of sessions. And as you can see, we decided to focus on 3 sessions. We had Money Smart, we had Skills Aware, and we had Interview Ready. We chose these because we thought it would be a perfect time for these to be involved. The sessions were extremely popular. We had a lot of primaries and a lot of secondary schools involved. And the key to this was it was allowing the teachers in the classroom to pick when they wanted the sessions. And that made a big difference to us. And we saw that this was the way we had to move forward. So we'll hear more about the sort of flexibility in the programme. We hope that as DYW Live evolves, we'll continue to think of different ways of involving the learners. The Pathways Week was an amazing success. The flexible delivery was a big success. We're continuing the flexible delivery this session, and we've increased it from 3 to something like 9 to 12 sessions, and they will all be delivered in a flexible manner at any point in time. But most of our sessions have now got a bit of flexibility in them, because we're thinking about what's the best way to get to learners and what's the easiest way for teachers to do that. So these are the things that we continually evolve, and hopefully it makes DYW Live an interesting platform and one that serves learners and teachers to the best. So I'm now going to pass you on to Alex, who's going to take you through the rest of the slides.
Hi again. I get the pleasure of finishing this off. So yeah, this is really just to go and talk a wee bit about our current offer, which is the academic year 2021-22 program that we're currently offering. It went live on the 6th of September, so we're a few weeks in at this point, and we've made quite a few changes to what we initially went and did. So the first is that we are happy to say that we've managed to include a number of certificated courses up to SEQF level 6. This includes the Young Enterprise Company program, which is going online for the first time, which is very exciting, which awards an SEQF level 6 award. We've also got a number of foundation apprenticeships at different levels, amongst some others, such as the Young STEM Leader program from CERC. I'll let you go and look at the full list on the website if you are interested. As Peter mentioned, we've aimed for flexible timing to suit schools better. We've not managed flexible timing for all of our courses, but I would say at least 2/3 of our courses have managed, if not to be fully flexible, like many have, they can do any day, any time during the week. We've managed to at least get partners to commit that if they could only do, say, a Wednesday, around 10 a.m., they've at least committed to being able to offer between 10 and 11 as a start time. The main reason for that being that I'm conscious that, the school timetable, being a teacher myself, doesn't work on the hour. Okay, most schools these days, I think, have 45 or 50-minute periods. I know some still have hour periods. But what that means is that if something starts on the hour, often you're scrambling to try and go and either take pupils out of their class, or you're having to figure out some compromise with regards to them arriving early or leaving late to go and do that. So that flexible time will hopefully alleviate that, as it means that if your second period starts at 10 minutes past 10, you can start the session at 10 minutes past 10 rather than 10 on the dot, and having that kind of 10-minute gap to try and figure out what you can deal with. We've got an enhanced program, and this is just a continuation of continuing to increase the program, try and offer more variety, more fantastic offers, so that there's more option for schools and learners to go and participate in. A big issue that we've had is that obviously 8 weeks in teaching is actually quite a short amount of time. Teachers like to do long-term planning. They like to be able to plan that, okay, well, I know that I've got a gap between maybe 2 units, or there's a particular topic I'm coming to in, say, February or March, and something around that time would be great. You maybe don't want something in the next week or two. So it's now a year-long program, allowing for that forward planning and to really go and plan ahead. Additionally, this isn't actually yet our park it for the moment, but we're planning to add virtual work placements, and we're also going to be adding more courses as we keep going. To try and make things more simple, because if any of you saw the Phase 2 website, essentially it was just a big list of every course on one page, which was not the easiest to parse or navigate through. So to try and make life easier, we've added a bunch of filters to help you go and identify offers that are relevant to you. Those filters are the curriculum subject, and we've tried to roughly band things into curriculum subjects, which will be helpful so you can find things that are relevant to you, particularly if, as I say, you're in the secondary sector, and if you teach science or physics or chemistry or biology, you're probably looking for something science related rather than maybe something that's business or English related. Likewise, obviously being able to filter by phase is important, as if you're a secondary teacher, you're maybe not interested in what is available for primary schools, and vice versa, unless, of course, it's something like, career pathways inspiration, which is applicable at all levels, of which we've got many courses. And in addition, we've got lots of professional learning courses, continued professional learning, that are available. Some of those are related to, quite traditional professional learning, which will go and enhance your practice. Others are related more to going and providing understanding and DYW knowledge, that will let you go and participate in other offers that are maybe, happening with some of our partners. And finally, we've always got the when. If you're interested in something between January and March, then you can go and filter something between January and March. Here is the weekly, or an example of the weekly advert that we put out every week. As you can see, what we've got is we've got the courses that we've got through Monday and Friday, Some of these are flexible, so you can see here it might be hard to make out. This one's flexible and could start anytime between 10:30 and 11:30, and that's so you want to work in a zoo. That's for the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland, Edinburgh Zoo, and it's fantastic. You get a tour around the zoo and you get to go and learn about all the different jobs that you maybe wouldn't think of. We've got other ones that are a lot more fixed, like you'll see that all of our twilight sessions, which are professional learning, occur at 4 o'clock, just because the school day is normally over by then and it's more convenient for teachers. And we've got some that are just flexible and can be delivered anytime in the AM or anytime in the PM. So there's a lot of variety there. Likewise, we've got our fully flexible courses, which are, these are literally available any day, any time. Just register for them, talk to the partner, and they will do their best to go and accommodate, provided they've not got a pre-existing commitment. They will do their best to go and deliver the session for you, a bespoke session that you can go and attend. Some of those are also professional learning in that they'll still be 4 o'clock, but they're flexible which day they can deliver. And finally, as we said, we've got foundational apprenticeships. I imagine, I'm not 100% the closing date. They will be closing, I would imagine, by the October break at the latest. But they are great opportunities to go and sign any of your young people up for if you're looking for something to go for them to go and do that will get them, additional qualification and onto a particular pathway that is of interest to them. For example, hospitality. I'm just looking in hospitality, it's not actually listed there, so that was a bad example, I apologise, but social services or business. Here are just some graphics that we've produced to go and help advertise them. I'm not going to go through all the details on them. You're able to read them, and as I say, all of these are being put out on social media anyway, so you're more than welcome to go to the eSchool Twitter account or Facebook or Instagram accounts. I assume they'll be on the Education Scotland ones as well. Hopefully Peter can confirm that. But we've got these graphics which just go and provide a quick overview of when they're happening to, again, hopefully try and get some interest. And last but not least, I'd just like to talk about the future of DYW Live. To be clear, while we started this off by saying that this is something that was created in response to the pandemic, this is not something that we see as a temporary fix to a situation. This is something that we think actually really should exist in its own right, in its own merit, because as Richard went and said, the fact that it's delivered remotely has real valuable implications for the partner, in that it means they don't have to go and spend a lot of time traveling. They can go and attend, which means they can actually deliver more sessions in the same amount of time to the schools, maximizing the value of their input that they're able to go and offer to schools. Likewise, it means that they can actually have multiple schools attend a single session. Obviously depends on the session. If it's a workshop, you probably want a smaller capacity than a webinar. But we've had some sessions, particularly some of the ones that Pete has gone and hosted, where we have had 500-600 pupils. I think I'll let Peter confirm in the session from a number of schools at the one time, which is obviously not something that's possible if you're visiting an individual school in person. Likewise, it just opens up more opportunities. We have people who are based in Aberdeen going and delivering to Edinburgh and Glasgow. People, obviously all of the people involved in eSchool, the majority of which are based up in the Western Isles and are delivering to all over the country. So it's really going and making the DYW offer a national offer, as opposed to what can sometimes be a lot more local offer if you're having to go and do things face to face. And so to build on this, as I said, we think it's here to stay. We're going to be going and adding all of our sessions, or at least a significant number of our sessions, to the SDS Marketplace to help gain additional exposure and help make things easier for teachers to go and find and book our sessions. We're updating our website because at the moment we've made improvements, but it could be smoother. It's no Amazon or other big slick website you can go and think of. So we're hoping to go and improve the navigation and clarity of that. We're going to continuously add offers, and we plan to add additional offers in October. We've already got a decent number that we're going to be adding then. And we plan to do the same in January and April, continuing to build on the program and hopefully enhance it and increase, as I say, the options that are available to schools and learners to participate in. Finally, recently it was updated, the work placement guidance, to include virtual work placements, which they're going to be flagshipped later this year by Education Scotland, with hopefully many more virtual work placements from our partners to go and follow. So if that's something that you're interested in, watch this space. Offers various advantages, aside from obviously the fact that it being done remotely means that there's opportunities that might not be available locally. It also means that, you know, rather than maybe as traditionally a work placement would be, the pupil goes out for a week and returns a week later having done a week of work, this could be a project that they do over a period of months, perhaps dedicating a couple of hours a week to it, you know, offering additional flexibility to fit around the school curriculum. So, as I say, lots of exciting things are happening here, and watch this space. Finally, I'd like to go and hand over to the last question. And if I'm correct, the question is, if you have signed up, or even if you haven't signed up, do you have any feedback for us about what we could improve on? Or if you didn't sign up, why didn't you go and sign up? Is that correct, Peter?
Yeah, so the last question is, what barriers to participation have you found, or do you anticipate? So if you just put in some of the barriers that you think, what we're looking for is, we're looking to find out what people think could be possible barriers, and then we could look at it. So if you could answer that question, I've put a link to the Menti there, just answer that there. But while we're doing that, I'll answer some of the questions that's on, or if I can't answer it, I'll get Richard or Alex. So number one, I see that Richard's answered the question about home learners having Glow. The next question was about how the virtual work placements will tie in with WorkIt. We're working with Gateway. Gateway were one of the team who helped to co-create the virtual work placement guidelines, which is now out. And we are hoping that we can take that together so that when we get more virtual work placements, they'll be advertised on WorkIt as well as Marketplace and on the eSchool. We will be trialling the virtual work placements in Education Scotland roughly November. That will give us an opportunity to tie in and look at all of the issues, because like anything else, when you run it the first time, things will need to change. So we're always interested in providers. Angela, just get in touch with us. I'll put my email address into the chat, so anyone has any questions, and if Alex and Richard want to do the same, that would be fine. So we're always looking for people to be involved in DYW Live. Try to see other questions. We've also got sessions are not recorded, and that's because of the fact that the main selling point, the USP of DYW Live is its interactivity. It's a live session, so therefore we have lots of young people who can be interacting straight away. They could lots of things, with their mics on, they could have their cameras on, so therefore we can't record at this time, and I don't see that being anything that will change in the near future. Thanks, Alex, for putting the website in. That would be fantastic. We've just so we've got lots of potential barriers. Disengaging online, yeah, publicity, I agree with that. Pupil expectations, we've got technical abilities. There's lots of things that are on there. DYW Live, we believe, is just at its infancy. We've only had the 16 weeks, which it's been difficult, as Richard and Alex have both said. The idea of DYW Live was to bring learning back into the classroom, in particular career education, work inspiration. That is our key, and we are more than happy if you've got ideas of how you think it could be improved. But I think all our emails are in there now. We're happy to talk to you, and we're also happy to take you through how to get more involved in DYW Live if you're a partner or if you're a teacher. We believe we've created, and I don't know who quoted this in the chats when we had the Twitter advertisements, but the idea is that no textbooks, just experts, and that's the opportunity to sit and listen to people, to engage with people who have actually done the job, and a lot of times are quite happy to give advice on subjects, on what subjects they did in school, how they got there. It's a fantastic opportunity. Myself, Richard and Alex are happy to take any questions in the chat if you've anything to ask. We do have things with modern languages. If you go into the DYW Live website and type in modern languages, there's a few sessions already available. Alex, am I correct in that?
Yes, there are. There's 5 sessions. One in particular that has been very popular, and to be honest, I've actually been inundated with questions about it, is languages in your career, which is first session is on the 30th of September next week, and we'll be repeating monthly after that. There'll be 3 sessions per day. There is no charge for the sessions, Mr. McIntyre. All of our sessions are free at the point of delivery. You just need to sign up and attend.
Yeah.
The language sessions are delivered by and through the Scottish Centre for Languages, SILT, who we've been working closely with over the last few years, and we work closely with the Confucius Institute for Scottish Schools as well. That's part of the SILT organisation. So they've delivered a really wide variety of good stuff for us.
I know, Peter, you had some excellent sessions about languages as part of your Inspiring the World of Work. Do you know if they're being repeated this session?
Fantastic. Yeah, we've actually had a couple of sessions and there was a focus on modern languages, and it was business talking about the importance of modern languages in the modern world. And both of the sessions were repeated, and they will be repeated again as part of the Inspiring the World of Work team, which I believe is going to be quite flexible delivered. I've just noticed that some of the barriers on there, and I knew one of them would be this, is timing of the sessions. I think the timing of the sessions is one of the reasons why in the new academic year, the full year programme, we've tried to make these sessions as flexible as possible. And a lot of the partners are willing to do the sessions and within a week's notice. The Inspiring the World of Work group are also going to work on totally flexible sessions, but they will only be, I think it's 9 we're going to start with. So we are trying to work in the time of the sessions. We understand teachers are busy. However, we believe that we've got the time of the sessions is going to be less of a barrier going forward. Coordinating timetables is always going to be a problem. No matter what we do with this, it's impossible to have a timetable that's the same all across Scotland. But the new flexibility, thank you, Alex, the flexible sessions will offer the opportunity for you to sign into the session, and you can discuss with the partner when you want to have the session. It will then be advertised on the team, and other teachers and classes can join in. During the flexible sessions, run about June last year, Alex is right, we had 600 and 700 learners at the one time, all different schools at the one time. It's an amazing opportunity. I was privileged to be in that session with all those learners, but even as a teacher, I was still thinking, wow, this is just amazing. All these different classes in at the one time. I can see that another thing is the publicity. I agree with this. The publicity is always going to be an issue. So right now we advertise on Twitter, we advertise on Instagram and Facebook. We send round information to the local authorities, and we're now going to go on Marketplace. So hopefully there's going to be more in the way of letting people know that this is available, because I think this is something that if once you go into a DYW live session and you see it and you participate, I think you'll want to go back in again. Now, I may be wrong, but I think you will, because the sessions with these experts they're something that you don't get a chance to have every day. But that's where we are just now. If there's any more questions, and thanks, Mr. Morrison, for your nice words. We don't have an emailing list for updates. I don't think that's something that we've got just now. Richard and Alex, do you want to comment on that?
No, at the moment, to be honest, we have generally what we've been doing is we have if you join a course team, that is basically the best place to go for information on that particular course. We have been deliberately not been keeping big mailing lists of teachers' details because basically of GDPR and the concern that we don't want to go and keep people's emails if they've not given us permission to go and keep them. So what we've been doing is whenever we've been finishing, we've been sending out a bulk email informing everybody of the new session, and then no longer using that email list. Sorry, Richard, would you like to come in?
Well, yeah, just a very, very hot off the press development with eSchool is that we are about to start doing a newsletter. DYW Live will feature in that newsletter, and we're going to keep a mailing list for that. So I will, I don't have the details to hand to pop in the chat, but we have created a form where if you would like to be kept up to date with all of eSchool's programs, we will send you that information. the best thing to do, I suppose, Alex has already put the website up there. If you go to the eSchool homepage, we'll have that link on there very soon, because it's just something that's in the offing just now.
Alex, there's a question about working in a lab there as well. I don't think we have anything specific yet about working in a lab, but that is something that probably we'll be looking to do in the future.
No, I mean, we have a session coming up that is all about DNA, genomes, and biosafety. So that will likely involve discussion of lab work, but obviously with a much more biology focus rather than a chemistry focus. We currently have nothing. If you come across, as I say, any partners who would be willing to go and do a session like that, we'd be more than happy to go and host it.
We have approached a company who developed the COVID-19 tests, and they're based in Scotland. We have approached them about doing a session, and we believe we might be able to do a session probably nearer December, and that'll be how a virus spreads. So that may be something that would be more of an interest to a biologist, but it's still going to be in that sort of scientific, and it'll also be about how to get a job once you're a scientist, because I believe, according to what I heard this morning, once you're out, if you in the science world, it's very difficult to get a job. So they'll give you hints and tips on how to get a job, which will also be, I think that's going to happen the first week in December.
Potentially, Mr. McIntyre, and potentially, you know, also what I've seen that mentioned that they are interested, and we'll definitely follow that. Another part that we've got involved is CERC, who obviously any science teachers will be very familiar with. They're currently doing their Young STEM Leader program, but potentially, you know, we could discuss with them if they would be interested in doing some sort of discussion around lab skills or lab safety or something to that effect. But yeah, there's plenty of options. And as I say, this program's very much in its infancy. All we've had so far is 2 8-week pilots, and we're at the very start of our first full year of running. So we're looking to build this up and make it as big and fabulous as we possibly can. And we're very much open to anybody who would like to, you know, jump on board and, you know, participate in that growth with us.
Well, I see one of the people that's joined this call, Nicola Jordan, who's reached out to us with her email address, works at the Royal Society of Chemistry. So watch this space. Hopefully we'll have some more chemistry-related sessions come out of that.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I think that's the benefit of this platform, that it can be continually changing. We can add to it. All we need is the partners to be involved. Right, it's 27 minutes past, so we've got 3 minutes to go. I'm going to ask if there's any further questions. I think that is us. So I would like to thank you for attending today, and I think hopefully we've given you food for thought, and hopefully we've given you some information maybe that you didn't know about DYW Live. We'd be delighted to have you in our sessions. And as I said, and my email's there, if you come into a session and you don't agree, I'm quite happy to hear how we can improve. But I believe that if you go into a session, you will see the benefit of working in this virtual landscape with the partners. So I thank you very much for attending the session today, and I hope to see you all in a DYW Live session in the future. Thank you.